Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to be considering functions. Now, when we talk about functions are just a way of you grouping a set of statements together so that they can perform a specific function. So, just like a code block that when you call them, they perform a specific function. So, anytime there's need for you to use that same code block again, you don't need to define it again. All you just introduce just to invoke that function. So it can be used if at some point or at some part of the script or the file you need to repeat the same set of stacks. You don't need to define it again. All you just need to do is just reuse or call the function again instead of you repeating the same sets of statements. Now in CSS we have some functions. We have calc function, RGBA, HSL, URL, val, linear gradients, radian gradients, and so on and so forth. So, but for now, we're limiting ourselves to this function so that we know how functions work. And in case you see something like this in CSS, you definitely know that okay, this is function in CSS. Now, let's just do something here. Let's define a div. I'm not going to be attaching a class to it this time around. Let me just set lorem 10 in the div, save. Now this calc function, it's used to perform calculations in order to determine the property, to define the property of an element. So it's used to perform calculations. So let's say I take that my div that I defined earlier. So let me set the border. Let me give it a border to maybe 1 pixel, solid black. If I save it, I see that my div now has border. So let's say I want to set the width relative to the parent element. So all I just need to do is just use calculation. So I can just call the calc function, and 100% of the should take 100% of the parent element, but I want to have some space. So let me just say minus 50 pixel. So that's the meaning of this. So you can see now that it takes 100%. So this remaining space is 50 pixels. I want to increase that remaining space. And all I just need to do is just say, okay, so 50 pixel, subtract 150 pixel. So take 100% of the parent element and remove 150. So from here to here is 150 pixels. So that is calc. So you can use it in different ways. You want to do some relative calculations and the like. So you use calc. Now RGBA is used to set color, and this RGBA means red, green, and blue. And the A is alpha, which is used to set transparency of the color. So it's mostly used to set the color. That means what percentage of red you want to have, what percentage of green do you want to have, what percentage of blue do you want to have, and what's the transparency level, and that is the A. So to do that, you can let's use the div again. Let me just put it here. And I set the background color to RGBA, red, green, blue, and alpha, which is the transparency. So for red, I want it should be 0 to 255. So maximum red, something 45, and you can just maybe blue 0, and the transparency should be 0.3. So you can see now that we have the background color. So let's say you want the transparency to increase. So the transparency should be between 0 and 1. So if it is 1, it will be completely colorable. The lesser you go, the more transparent it becomes. So transparent 0.1 will be very fade because it's the lowest transparent. So it's very transparent. But if you want it to be thick, you go very high. So but it should be from 0 to 1. Once you have 1, then it will not be transparent in any way. To just take the full form. That is that. So that is that about RGBA. Now for the next one, which is HSL. The HSL stands for, is also used to set how thick the color should be. So HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. So Let's use color this time around. Let's use color and set to HSL. Let's just set the air to set the color variation. Saturation, maybe you want to be 100%, and maybe the lightness, maybe 50%. So this color is going to be picking the text. So if you save it now, see now, so it's like color green. Of course, you can play around with it, 50%. See how it changed, 20%, just like you're setting a black and white color TV, a black and white TV to be colored. So you start changing the hue, start changing saturation till you get what you want. So it's not very common to use this except you know what you are doing. So this is one of the most common one, and so we have the Xcode. Now another function that we have is the URL. This URL, maybe you want to reference an image, you want to reference a font file, you use this URL to locate the location of that image. So let's just define another div here. Let's call this div2, and I just have some random words here too. I save. Now I want to style. Let me call this div1. Let me call this div1 so that the style will not be applied to all. div1, and I call this div2. Now the URL now let me save. Sharp. So we have this. Now let's just add some margin top of 12 pixels. That should be fine. Okay, let's also add some border. I think we might not need width. Yeah, so let's add some URL. You want to add a background image to this div, you just use the URL. So just say background image. So you want to locate an image, use the URL, then you have your full column. Now it will go to the current folder, maybe pick the stock image, and it's going to, of course, let's increase the height. Let's increase the height so that we can see our picture. Because I don't want us to go to the property of picture for now. Let's just set it to maybe 450, should be fine. 450 pixel. I can see the dog, and let's that 450 look too much. Yeah, it's fine. I think that is okay. And the color to the image, sorry, the text should be white. Okay, so I think that it's fine. At least we can see what we are doing. Now we also have another function which is var. This is variable. We have looked at it earlier. So this variable, you should definitely define the variable in the root tag. The variable should always be in the root tag. Please take note of that. So let's say you have your, let us set font size. Let me be primary, anything, primary font size. But take note, double dots front. Let me just make it maybe 20 pixel, and in here maybe let me just put this above the div, and I just set my font size to, so this is where the var now come in now. So I want to use a variable that has been defined in my root tag, then I'll just call the var function so that I can use the variables. I'll just set the primary font size. So you can see that the text has increased because I call this variable and the value is attached to it. So you might want to define a linear gradient. Okay, let's have a div3 now. Let's have a div3 so that we see we have a linear gradient background for it. So let's just duplicate this. Let's just duplicate it, shift alt down arrow. That's what I'm using to do that. Now I want to remove this. I think the height is good. I want to remove this. I want to remove this. I think I don't need the background too. Okay, now I think I need, I need div 3. Okay, this is my div 3. Now let's say I want my background to be a linear gradient. So like applying two different colors as a gradient. So all I just need to do is just call this linear gradient function and I define it as 2, and to the right apply from the left make it red and to the right make it blue. So if I save it now, you can see this is a linear gradient. Started from right red and moving forward it's blue. So the same thing also goes for radial gradient. It's also the same method as the linear gradient, just that the gradient is applied as a radian instead of linear. So I change this to radian. I should comment this out. So I can just, okay, I want it to be maybe a circle. I want it to be a circle and I save. You can see now that we have gradient, and we have other functions in CSS, but those are the ones that we popularly used. And in case you come across anything that they write like this in CSS, you should not be surprised. You should know that it's a function that has been predefined by CSS for its peculiar usage.